Well, I hate to bring up the Steelers again because really I'm making this all about myself. But Mike, the Steelers had probably the upset of the weekend, maybe of their entire season, beating Tom Brady and the Bucs. And the storyline, of course, became Tom Brady went to Robert Kraft's wedding on Friday night and he missed the walkthrough and he wasn't playing well and he was yelling at his O-line. And my question for you, like, what does missing the walkthrough even mean if you're a player? Does that matter if you're 45 years old?
Well, I mean, it's part of like, I go back to the Urban Meyer thing when they played in Cincinnati. I actually called that game, and then he stayed, to go to his bar or whatever in Columbus or blah blah blah, and that whole thing, and the stuff, where he got caught with the pictures with the girl. That, as I said, that's
we remember.
Yes, that's between him and his wife. I talk about football, and players and coaches and from a football side. That's his personal life. I'm not getting into that. The thing that irked me was the fact he didn't go back with the team. Okay? I'm sure the part maybe irked his wife was a little different, but the part that irked me was the fact he didn't go back with his team, said he needed kind of a break. Well, what the hell do you think the players need? They hadn't won a game. They were winning in that game and they lost, and you don't go back with your team. You're not a team. So that's kind of it. You're a team, and you stick together. Walk through, yeah. Technically, Tom Brady needing walk through, understandably, no. I get it. But it's just the fact that this is what you do. It's just like his 11-day absence. Now, again, if it was for the personal reasons and it's family and all that, you have to be understanding about some of that without question. But, this was for a wedding, nothing unbelievably crucial here. So, and you see Todd Bowles came out and he said, listen, he's not getting preferential treatment. Even lesser players, if they had some things they needed to do, they would be able to do it. I don't know. I maybe that this is still the old school in me. I think, you're in the season. This is team stuff, unless it's, an emergency or, because I put family before even football. If it has something to do that's serious there, I get it. But, a wedding, now, is that the reason they lost? No. But, we keep saying about Tom Brady and the Bucs and Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, they're going to all figure it out. Well, you know what? I don't think they're going to. I don't think these teams are going to end up being very good. We keep saying when Aaron figures it out with these receivers, well, I mean, we're getting in the area a couple of weeks of the halfway point of the season, and they're not scoring for shit, and really neither is Tampa Bay. So there's a point where you say, this is what we are. I mean, Tom has had his receivers for a couple of weeks, and we see Aaron struggling as well. Now he's getting hit a lot, but he doesn't look like the Aaron Rodgers that's walking into the Hall of Fame. So for all we've been kind of giving these guys the benefit of the doubt, I don't think it's happening for either team this year. Playoffs certainly maybe, but I don't see them in the hunt for the Lombardi Trophy by the end of the year. So circling all the way back, it's just the whole team aspect to me. This is your walkthrough. This is where you're supposed to be right now, outside of an emergency, and going to your former owner's wedding. To me, doesn't fit the bill of an emergency. But again,
Sir Elton John was there.
They don't give a shit what I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how awesome is that?
That's why he had it in the fall, apparently.
I saw him. Oh, yeah. I wanted to know when he had an off day. I saw him in concert, me and my wife in Vegas. Wow. Was he fantastic. So I get that. So maybe.
You get that.
Maybe, if Tom wanted to go hear Elton John, maybe, huh?
Then you understand. I think the thing that I was going to say Elton John and Urban Meyer, but no, I mean to say the thing that Tom Brady and Urban Meyer have in common in those scenarios is that they're both perceived to be leaders of the team. Urban Meyer, obviously a head coach, lead by example, but Tom Brady as the veteran quarterback who's won 7 Super Bowls and, he's considered the greatest of all time. And so, maybe there are people that roll their eyes and are cynical about teamwork, whatever. Like, these are paid professionals. And if Tom Brady isn't there, maybe his teammates should get that. But I also can see your point of view, Mike, saying, you were saying you're old school, but I think there's some truth to it that there's also the camaraderie of being on a team and like doing things together and being where you're supposed to be that maybe does come into play. And so I've heard a lot of people say that like, if you're going to miss a walkthrough or you're not going to travel with the team or whatever, that's fine, but you better play well. And then, he didn't really play too well. So that's maybe where the issue comes into play. And it wouldn't have mattered if they had just, not had Mitch Trubisky drive the ball all over them at the end of the fourth quarter, but he did. He did.
So what do you think about the going to your team now, Mitch and Kenny? What route are you going?
I think Kenny's going to start. I know he's in concussion protocol, but I think
right.
if he's cleared, he's still the starter. He's going to start. I think it was a nice little redemption arc for Mitch Trubisky to have that play at the end of the fourth quarter, and I think it goes to show how we've seen this in college football with Notre Dame in the last few years, how when you're the starter and you get benched, you're still one play away from playing. So it's important for the coach and for your team to keep you active and stimulated and ready to play. And so I was happy to see that he got that moment and he was ready to play, and he had some great passes to Chase Claypool to ice the game at the end. And yeah, it was nice. But yeah, Kenny Pickett, I think still starts. He scored the Steelers' first quarter touchdown, I think, of the season, and also their first touchdown pass of the season in week 5. So
that doesn't say a lot for the team.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way. I love throwing the hypotheticals out there, even though I hate when people do it to me. They're at Miami. It's a Sunday night game, I believe, this week. Say Kenny isn't out of protocol and Mitch starts and he plays well and they win. And then Kenny clears protocol for the next week at Philadelphia. Are you still saying we go back to Kenny, or do you leave Mitch in if he plays well and they win?
I think you still go back to Kenny, but if Mitch throws 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, then I'll change my mind. But we'll
he plays 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, maybe an interception, but well enough to win. That's not enough to say keep Kenny out, huh?
I think you still start Kenny against the Eagles, but I don't know, Mike. I'm not. Mike Tomlin knows best. He's the one who's done it for, 20 years. So we'll see what he does.
I'm still, I've been horrible at picking games. Horrible. I pick the Packers over the Jets. Keep thinking the Packers are going to get well, and the Jets.
I think a lot of people pick the Packers over the Jets. I wouldn't blame yourself. For that
yes, I agree with that. I mean, I certainly picked Tampa Bay over the Steelers. I did pick the Eagles. There was another one. The 49ers. I mean, I didn't see that one coming. I mean, I guess I still can't tell how good Atlanta is. But to beat them by 2 touchdowns, I thought San Francisco, and I had said I think would start rolling just a little bit, but that's certainly not the case. With that performance, and you sit there and you look at that division. They're 3-3. The Rams are 3-3. Seattle is 3-3, and Arizona's 2-4. So it's been tougher and tougher to pick games this year. We talk about teams in college. More teams, I think, are better and closing the gap. And I think in the NFL, we're using that, what people consider the F word a little bit when you say, is there parity in the league now?
Mike, I don't know if it's parity or if there's just a lot of medium good teams. There's some teams that are just not blowing me away, but I think will make the playoffs, versus teams where I'm these 4 teams will definitely be in it, and we can predict to see them in January playing one another. I still don't know what to think about the Chargers. I don't know if you watched that game with Russell Wilson, and now he's getting an MRI on his hamstring, I believe, and he might have a serious injury there. But that's a team that I'm I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deep playoff run if they make it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they peter out the rest of the season, because they've just played kind of weird all year.
Yeah, we saw the arrow up on the Chargers, and I think the expectation was a little more. Now, they're 4-2, and Kansas City's 4-2, but I'm with you. The smell test, how they look, it's been a little surprising to me.